Welcome to Brainiac, the show where we take science and smack it hard on its chubby little bottom. The wild science tonight. Ooh-wee, how do Brainiacs smell after their Friday night curry? New balls, please. We go golfing the lazy man's way. Jon Tickle gets moosical down at the farm. Torturing Brainiacs in the cause of science.
With your nails. With your nails.
And isn't science fun? We rid the planet of another caravan. But first, some shock treatment. Take one very large deserted warehouse. Introduce some low-amp, 9-volt electrical equipment, one Brainiac, and you have yourself an experiment. The current that these electrode pads will carry produces electrical impulses that will stimulate specific muscle groups. Today we're experimenting to see if it's possible to apply makeup whilst being electrocuted. Our Brainiac is a bit of a novice at this beauty treatment thing, but he does show commendable sense by foregoing the mascara to avoid poking his own eyes out. And now here's a warning. If you're a female viewer, you might find the following scenes disturbing. Actually, it doesn't really matter who you are. You still might find them disturbing. His long ginger hair may make him look like a girlie, but this Brainiac is in fact all male. He says he's never put on makeup before, and judging by his skills so far, we're inclined to believe him. Of course, it may be that the electrical shocks are making his work suffer. Applying makeup, one more thing you can't do whilst being electrocuted.
Here's one for you. How do you know when you've run out of invisible ink?
As a rule, Brainiacs work very, very hard. Scientific investigation is more or less a full-time job. Blowing things up and looking at the bits is not just 9 to 5. But we do occasionally get a day off, a day when we can pursue our favourite leisure activity, golf. We've got the tools of the trade. Sadly, all we're missing is any discernible talent for playing the game. We don't see any point in travelling miles to get to fancy courses. We like to bring our own challenging course with us. And our own golf expert. There's nothing quite as much fun as dressing up like a prat just to whack little balls with big sticks. A small sod. St Andrews it isn't, but it does give us a favourable lark. Chosen weapon in hand, and the very best ball. This should be easy. The only problem, though, with this golfing lark, our complete lack of ability. A hole-in-one is more or less a distant dream. Hitting the green would be nice. We've said we can do it. We've bragged about it to all our mates. A hole-in-one is just a matter of a smooth swing, a solid contact, and maybe a bit of luck. However, there are only so many hours in a day to achieve our goal. Something tells us we need a shortcut. So, what can a lazy man do to maximise his chances of that elusive ace? One heavy-duty air mortar. The big boy's pea shooter, this baby can fire out a multitude of balls with one mighty puff of compressed air. Power her up and set the angle of approach. One good plunge. 170 little white balls hurtle towards their chosen target. Yeah! With these kind of odds, we'll back ourselves for a hole-in-one every time. So, forget the Varden grip. We don't give a hoot for a controlled swing. Give us an air mortar every time. The lazy man's guide to a hole-in-one.
Welcome to hell. This is group therapy Brainiac style. No, we're not doing any of that primal scream nonsense or getting in touch with our inner selves. We are confronting these Brainiacs with some of their greatest phobias.
I don't like that one.
Look, he can't stand holding ice lollies.
Try it. Simple. Hold the stick.
She can't bear the sound of forks on teeth. And he hates having to touch high-grain sandpaper.
Come on, touch it with your nails. With your nails.
Now, some people might think that this is just gratuitous cruelty, and to be honest, there is an element of truth in that. But we're also doing an experiment. Scientists believe that you can cure people of their phobias by flooding them. That is, overdosing them on their particular form of nightmare, so they become anaesthetised to its effects. Can we do it? Well, 6 Brainiacs, 6 phobias. Join us later to see if we've managed to cure them.
101 uses for a Wii! Oh, what a bore! It's wash day again. And what's this? Oh no, he's out of washing powder! Looks like he'll have to wear horrid, smelly clothes for the rest of the week. But wait! Why not wash the clothes in wee-wee? Yes, that's right. Urine contains ammonia. It's a perfect bleaching agent. It's also highly alkaline, which means it can dissolve oils and dirt. Job done. Thanks, guys. Lovely.
Hello, my name's Ed Hall and I love watching Brainiac. Jon Tickle is the new Judith Han.
When you've had a tasty takeaway, the next day, can people tell what you've eaten just by smelling you? These Brainiacs are enjoying a lovely dinner. They've got themselves some tasty nosh. Chinese food, a curry, a pizza, and some fish and chips. They're shoveling it down their necks because tomorrow we want to find out if it's going to come out in their sweat. The next day, they're all still full of fast food. A cup of coffee stimulates their apocrine glands, which starts the sweaty process. Then some gentle exercise to start the juices flowing. We told them not to wash for the previous 3 days, an instruction which produced baffled looks all round. They weren't planning to anyway. We've also banned them from using deodorants or perfumes of any kind. So, watch out, world. Now it's down to the gym for some harder stuff. A 2-hour workout should do it. Ups, downs, jogs and thrusts. Not much fun when you've got a greasy takeaway doing the hokey-cokey in your gut. Curry Brainiac has the finest fragrant spices milling around his weedy frame. Garlic, cumin, garam masala. Will they be traceable alongside the usual stench of his BO? Chinese boy, now a noxious blend of 5-spice, sweet and sour and eau de Brainiac. He's humming like an oversexed humming bee. How will our smellers cope when they get their noses near these pits? Pizza Boy has already got himself into a good muck sweat. A pepperoni topping only adds to his unsavoury pong. But will they be able to detect the cheesiness alongside his cheesy smile? Finally, Fish and Chip Boy is full of battered cod, vinegar and solidified oil. Jumping up and down should get the ingredients out via his 3 million sweat glands, if he doesn't bring it up first. 2 hours later, and the Brainiacs are sweaty all right, a potpourri of body odours. Now it's out onto the streets.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Do you want to come along and meet our smelly Brainiacs?
Oh, curry.
Curry.
We had some sort of pasta with garlic.
There's pizza.
Pizza?
That actually smelled quite nice.
Really? What do you make of that?
Curry, I think.
Curry.
Curry?
Chicken kebab.
What does that remind you of?
Roses. Oh!
Fish and chips.
Oh, I recognise that. It's a bit like curry, that is.
Bit like curry. Excellent.
So yes, it's official. You do sweat the pong of your food. Curry, the worst offender, recognised by 95% of all smellers. Time for your annual wash, boys. This object has been magnified 100 times. A traditional accompaniment to dinner, though they do look and taste like polystyrene. What do you think it is? We'll be giving you the answer shortly. This is Brainiac, the show that's very nearly an anagram of brainache. Also to come, here we go. What happens when people talk about you?
If I was a bird, I could perch on those ears.
And more meals in minutes. It's microwave time. Earlier, we showed you this. It's an object that's been magnified 100 times. If you think they taste of nothing, that might be because that speckle of pink you can see is the sole piece of prawn in this prawn cracker.
Dear John, I love the show and think this would make a great Brainiac experiment. Cows are supposed to produce more milk when they listen to music. So does that mean that cows that live around summer festival sites make more milk during the concerts? Any chance you could create a Glastonbury-type festival to see what happens? Thanks a lot from your biggest fan, Nathan in Birmingham. Nathan, this one's going to be interesting. Yes, for this experiment, we've created our very own festival. We've put 400 lucky cows on the guest list, and they've been divided into 4 separate fields, so they can listen to 4 very different types of music. At the end of the day, each group of cows will head off to the milking shed, and we'll be able to see which type of music has the best effect. May I present the Brainiac Bovine Moosical Festival? First up, it's some banging house music. Research claims that music with less than 100 beats per minute is more productive than faster music. This tune is being played at 144 beats per minute, so in theory, this group of cows shouldn't produce a higher milk yield. In field number 2, the vibe is a little more refined. In one day, a cow can eat on average 12 kilograms of grass and produce as much as 44 litres of milk. According to research, the classical soothing music of our string quartet stands a good chance of increasing these cows' output. Next up, cool jazz in the bottom field. Well, sounds more like ghastly folk music to me, but I'm no expert, and anyway, our cows seem magnetically drawn to it. And they also seem drawn to each other. It's definitely affecting their mood, but will it mean more milk? For our last group of cows, it's something a bit heavier.
Take it away, ladies!
It's the kicking sound of punk. A cow has 4 stomachs. Each extracts a different part of the food they eat. I wonder which one they will use to stomach this. None of them, obviously. So, as the musical festival finishes, our cows are about to learn that you don't get anything for free as we come to the business end of our experiment. It's off to the milking shed to get our results.
Nice. Come on, babies, let's have some milk.
Right, so you think the cows have enjoyed their musical day?
I should think so, except the pint.
You reckon you saw some adverse reaction there?
Yes, I think we could see some adverse reaction there.
Right. All right, Phil, let's have a look at our results then. First up, we had the punk rock band. How have they done?
They're down by about 4%.
So, no surprise, punk not doing it for the cows, producing 4% less milk. That's 4 pints. And neither did the dance, the cows making 2 pints less after the music. The jazz cows, on the other hand, yielded 3 pints more. But it was classical that was the big winner of the day. They were up 4. So to answer Nathan's question, yes, depending on the type of music, cows do produce more milk. And if that's the case, then why not try playing some loud music to your milkman and see if he'll deliver an extra pint?
Stop.
The following experiment is dangerous for your safety and the protection of those around you. Do not try this at home. No, really, don't.
This is a balloon, but not just any balloon. It's filled with oxygen. No big deal, you might think. There's oxygen everywhere. True, but not pure oxygen. Attached to the balloon is some tin foil, which will provide a spark. When the balloon is ignited, you don't see much of a flame due to the speed at which oxygen combusts. It burns so fast and clean that the microwave doesn't suffer any fire damage at all. It is, however, nicely blown apart.
We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
Down at the lab, we're in the middle of a miracle cure. These Brainiacs are all confronting their own personal visions of hell. This girl can't bear the thought of metal on her teeth. Just looking at buttons are a nightmare for her, while this Brainiac abhors the sound of balloons rubbing on woolen clothes.
So, is the therapy working? Well, these Brainiacs have been confronted with their own particular phobias for, 2 hours now. So let's see how they're getting on. The fork phobia. I personally can't stand forks scraping against earthenware dishes, but of course, I can always choose a different kind of dish. She can't change her teeth. Now, let's go over to the button lady. How does this affect your everyday life?
All my clothes have zips, hooks, everything. Jackets, all zips, jeans,
They're very last season, though, aren't they?
No one knows for sure where these phobias come from. They're often related to sensitive areas like nails and teeth, hence the phrase, setting your teeth on edge. Most people usually have at least one phobia, and they're often shared. Many people, for instance, share a hatred of fingernails running down a blackboard. Flooding therapy involves exposing a patient to prolonged and repeated images of their trauma until they no longer cause anxiety. But the phobias we're trying to cure are very deep-seated.
So, our Brainiacs have been subjected to their fears for quite some time now. Let's see how they're all getting on. Everyone, who has been cured? No one. Who's had a little bit of improvement?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. 2 of you. Well, seems this particular flooding cure doesn't seem to have that much success. But you know what? I'm going to leave them here a little bit longer, just to be sure.
Not too bad, is it? Don't cry, please.
Pub science, the Brainiac alternative to the beer garden.
Bet you a tenner I can get that ice cube out of there without touching it. I just prepared this earlier. All you need is a bit of salt and a bit of cotton. You sprinkle some salt onto the ice. Due to the second law of thermodynamics and entropy, the freezing point of the ice is lowered with the addition of the salt. And then, as it cools down again, the ice turns to water, and then it freezes again, and maybe we need to wait a bit longer. It worked at home.
I'll see you in the bar, mate.
Oh. Hang on. I put more salt on. It'll definitely work. It's nearly working. You just need to be patient, honest. It's nearly working. It worked yesterday. Ow. Ow.
No places for science.
Ow. Whoa. Ow.
And stay out.
Give us another chance. It nearly worked.
Every day in the Brainiac lab, our email inbox is flooded with suggestions for experiments from the great British public. The mad, the bad, and the downright stupid. Our dedicated research team go through each and every one of these suggestions and thoroughly assess them for their scientific value. Just a very few ideas actually go forward for testing. And if your idea is picked, be sure the Brainiac team will track you down.
I can do science, me.
Today, it's canal boat enthusiast Robert Nemeshani from Stoke. If you're lucky enough to be selected, then you too could be picked up in style by the Brainiac team and chauffeur-driven to our top-secret, state-of-the-art research laboratory.
For all of you wannabe scientists out there, it's your chance to get really scientific. It's I Can Do Science, Me, with Charlotte Hudson.
Today, it's Robert Nemeshani. Dear Brainiac, I want to know, are you able to walk in a straight line if you've got your eyes shut? Well, I don't know, Robert. You tell me.
What is going on? Surely you lot can come up with better experiments than this. Oh well, might have some practical importance, I suppose, if you were stranded in the desert having to make the shortest journey to an oasis. I don't know, I'm struggling for relevance here. So, Robert, a long line of string on the ground. Will you walk along the length of it in a straight line if we blindfold you?
OK, Robert is ready. The path is set. Will he walk in a straight line?
3, 2, 1. Walk.
So, with no point of reference, his body will go whichever way his gait takes him. He heads off straight down the line of the string. That is, at first. But gradually something takes over and he drifts. His more dominant right side seems to push him away from the straight and narrow.
Stop!
Right-handed, right-footed, every time he walks the walk, he ends up being pushed off to the left. Time and time again.
His name is Robert Nemeshani. He wanted to know if you could walk in a straight line with your eyes closed. The answer? No.
I can do science, me.
Things Jon Tickle's body can't do.
Come in. Hello, Mr. Tickle. Would you stand over there, please? Now, Mr. Tickle, would you please bend your thumb over and make it touch your forearm?
The ability to do this depends on how supple your joints are. There's no such thing as a double joint. 5% of the population can do it, but Jon Tickle isn't one of them.
No, nurse. Sorry, I can't do that.
OK, thank you, Mr. Tickle.
One more thing Jon Tickle's body can't do. Do holidays make you thick? A scientific study has suggested that a fortnight of mindless activity can make your brain slow down. Is that really true? Well, we mean to find out. With Brainiacs, of course, we don't really have the brain power to start with. So we've gone off to the airport and found 4 people setting out on their holiday to test out. First, we need to see how clever they are before they go away.
OK, no conferring. You have 30 seconds per question. Time starts now. Question 1. Which of the signs below completes the sequence?
These puzzles are part of a standard IQ test. An average score in a test like this is 100 points.
What are the numbers that should replace the question marks?
Our holiday makers are a bit cleverer than that, averaging 118 between them.
Congratulations, you may now go and enjoy your holiday.
So off you go to Greece then. Have a nice time. Don't bother sending a postcard though. We've asked them to do nothing mentally stimulating for the whole fortnight away. A feat they comprehensively achieve, as evidenced by their holiday video, the bits we're allowed to show.
Cocktail hour, look at this. Crazy cocktail.
A German scientist studied holidaymakers and found that a long break did temporarily make people less intelligent, concluding that a lack of intellectual activity causes the nerve cells in the frontal lobe of the brain to shrink. He recommended that to counteract this, people should take a good book on holiday or play regular games of chess or backgammon. A bit tricky when you're staggering drunkenly down the streets of Falaraki. Complete with traditional silly holiday hat, our guinea pigs return to Blighty.
Welcome back to the UK. Trust you had a satisfactory holiday.
So, how well will they fare with their IQ test now?
So, you'll have 30 seconds per question as before. So, if you're ready, question number 1, time starts now. If Brainiac Spaceship A takes 2 years to revolve...
Similar questions, a lot of head scratching, and a little cheating.
OK, pens down, please. That concludes your second intelligence test.
And when the results are totted up, amazingly, their average score is now 107 points. That's 12% down.
Pre-holiday intelligence.
So there's the proof. Holiday makers, beware. It's not just your liver you're damaging. It's said that a baby can cry louder than a pneumatic drill. Both can drive you utterly demented. But which is loudest?
Drill.
Drill.
Pneumatic drill is louder, but a baby's more irritating.
Yeah, crying baby is a...
A pneumatic drill is louder.
The pneumatic drill.
Crying baby.
Not a drill. Babies are cute.
To answer this question, we've sent a Brainiac out with a noise meter. The average noise level for normal background noise is 70 decibels. And in case you didn't get that, it was 119 decibels. And the baby?
That's 123 decibels.
123 decibels. So there you have it. Babies are louder than roadworks. And messier and smellier and more environmentally unfriendly. Big John is 7'3" and Little John is 3'11". This is Tall v Small, where we ask the question, which is better? This week, we're asking the question, is it better to be tall or small when you have to pick pennies up off the ground? We've marked out an area and placed 100 pennies randomly inside the square. The experiment involves picking up all the coins and placing them in the piggy bank. The person who can do it the fastest will be declared the winner. First away is our tall guy. This is an interesting physiological test. Will his height help or hamper? He does have further to travel in the up and down movements, but laterally, his long arms mean he doesn't have to move much at all. Of course, there is also the dynamic relationship between the large size of his hands and the small size of the coins. Our tall guy clocks a time of 3 minutes and 35 seconds for his 100 pennies. The coins are once again laid out at random, and now it's time for our small guy. The advantages and disadvantages are reversed with our small guy. He doesn't have as far to travel up and down, but he does laterally. The results of this experiment could be very close indeed. The smaller hands of Little John seem to be handling the coins quite easily. His time to beat is 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And yes, he's done it. He's just sneaked in. So, when it comes to picking up pennies, it's definitely better to be small. When people talk about you, do your ears really go red? We've brought in the biggest ears we can find for this experiment.
Just going to measure your ears.
Coming in at a mighty 6 centimetres long and a surface area of 17 square centimetres, if these ears don't react, none will. 2 Brainiacs, a specified distance from our subject. They must be close enough so that he can hear their conversation.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Heat sensors are now applied. If blood flow should occur, the ears will warm up and the sensors will register the change. Observers also stand by to get a measurement of rouging. He starts the experiment with a redness reading of bashful blossom.
OK, ready?
We're set. The first stage of the experiment involves a conversation about general everyday matters. At this point, they must not talk about Mr. Big Ears.
What's your favourite fish?
Pilchards.
So I quite like mackerel.
Really?
And herring.
No colour change yet, nor any increase in oral warmth, as expected. Time for the conversation to turn to the subject in hand.
Now please talk about him, but not rude.
I don't know, it's quite hard to tell from behind about a person, but 14, 15?
Yeah, I would say give or take a few months.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just slowly going on a haircut.
When you feel embarrassed, it causes a reaction in the sympathetic nervous system. Blushing occurs when blood floods into the tiny vessels on or around the face. This is visible as they're close to the surface of the skin.
OK, now be a little bit rude.
I like his shoes.
You like your shoes?
No.
No, I don't either.
No.
The ears do have a number of these tiny blood vessels. Still no change in ear colour.
I don't know quite.
What do you think of that guy's cardi?
He looks like quite a low-budget shopper.
Maybe, in fact, no budget.
No budget.
No budget. Rummages through the bins outside charity shops.
People's washing lines.
Yep.
That sort of
yeah,
stuff.
definitely. I think so.
The heat still a constant 31. Maybe he's not feeling embarrassed enough. Let's turn up the pressure.
Ruder.
Awful pair of jeans they are.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have accepted them if they were given to me by my mother.
Take that cardigan off. I'm thinking hairy back.
Hairy back and a string vest.
String vest, yeah. Sort of bloke that, you know, if you left him alone with your girlfriend, he'd try and have a go, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Get knocked back, though. Yeah. He's probably ugly.
Yeah, like a hybrid of Wayne Rooney and
Shrek.
Shrek,
Bit of a Shrek thrown in as well.
I mean, if I was a bird, I could perch on those ears.
This should be enough.
Maybe
another check on the patient. Again, no change in either reading. A tough cookie, this one. Let's get into overdrive.
Very rude, please.
Some sort of skin deficiency.
Yeah.
Regular moisturiser, but never really works.
Never works, never works.
Surely this should do it.
Probably smells as well.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that because I'm getting the odour from him.
If you lift up his armpit, he'd probably have a big chunk of Gouda underneath, or another cheese. I don't know. He's probably got inverted knees as well.
Amazingly, still nothing, even at gross rudeness levels.
OK, thank you very much.
It's over. So, being talked about does not make your ears go red.
Go on, off the road you go. Go on.
Do feel free to try this at home.
Crater face. Face.
However, be warned. Gross personal abuse can become addictive.
Go on, watch your knuckles on the floor.
Which fruit floats? Featuring Professor Mayang Lee and her big basket of fruit. Today, the professor's got a date. So, what's your guess? Will a date sink or will it float? We'll give you a few moments to argue about it and give you the answer in just a moment. This is Brainiac, the show that does for science what Ken does for Barbie. Also to come, Brainiac boffin Jon Tickle makes up his own dreams. And it's do or die as our Brainiac Office Junior runs out of stationery. But first, earlier in the show, Professor Mayang Lee posed the question, does her tasty date sink or does it float? Yes, dates sink all the way to the bottom. Is there any correlation between the size of, say, your feet and the size of any other part of your anatomy? You know what I mean. Feet come in all shapes and sizes. So do other parts of the body. But is there any relationship between some bits of you and other bits?
Is that your nipple?
Yes.
It's a question that has taxed mankind since time began. Some people believe the size of the hands is the perfect indicator. Others say it's the length of the nose. Accurate measurements should answer the question.
First one, please.
Now, the second stage. The answer is quite literally at our fingertips. Previous investigations into this subject have relied on men reporting accurate measurements of the subject at hand. This is not always terribly reliable. Independent verification is vital, therefore, in an experiment like this. If there really is anything in the theory, then there has to be some correlation between the measurements. So, is there? Minute examination of the statistics produces the answer. No, there is no correlation between the size of your hand, feet or nose and the size of your... In 1983, Twisted Sister sang You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. But we here at Brainiac, using the laws of science, believe you can. And we're going to use nothing more than gravity itself. Well, that is if you don't count the 75-foot cherry picker. Under the force of gravity, an object will accelerate at 9.8 meters per second squared, which means that the stereo will hit the ground at 78 kilometers an hour. Can't stop rock and roll? You can with gravity. How many times does the letter F appear in the following sentence? Francis of California and his friend Frank from Africa made soft toffee out of fine sugar. 90% of people who try this experiment fail to find all the F's. Here they are. How many did you spot? Well, in all, there are 12. When most people do this, their brain overlooks the word of, because the F is pronounced like a V. Tina Turner loves her science. Though she has, of course, now become an international singing star, she's never forgotten those school days she spent in the lab down in Nutbush. Whenever she gets a break from her busy schedule, she likes to get out her Bunsen burner and blow something up.
Step this way, Tina.
Arriving once again at the field of destruction, she stumbles across the bumpy ground to survey again the vehicles at her mercy. She selects her chosen victim, plumping for the red one. Her plan, to blow it up with a stick of the finest TNT. A large stick for a big car. This should do it. Tina's a past master at this game. She deftly applies the fuse to the business end of the banger. Loaded up into the back seat, in it goes and off she goes, unravelling her line of wire as she totters off. It's a big bit of wire, for good reason. She's keen to ensure she's well away when the car goes up. A big rock for the Queen of Rock. Today, Tina's got something a bit special to set off the Big Bang. She's mighty proud of this device, having put it together in a woodwork class on a day off during her European tour. A combination of levers and pulleys, it's a delightful concoction to set off an explosion. Her favourite detonator is delivered and gets loaded into place. It goes directly under the big rock, leaving just one missing ingredient.
Your Bunsen burner, Miss Turner.
Lit and ready, its flame on full as Tina sets to work on the cord that holds the rock. It's not long before her plan comes to fruition. And as ever, Tina bursts into song. This could happen to you if you're caught unawares by global warming. Before you know it, sea levels around the world have risen and your office is surrounded by deep water. You ask yourself which office product you should grab and panic because you don't know which ones float. Brainiac is here to help. We've already found out that you should steer clear of paper and cardboard objects. They provide no buoyancy at all, unless, like these envelopes, they're lined with bubble wrap. Vessels that trap air make fine flotation devices, such as these bags of polystyrene cups. There's only a couple of office products left to test, so our Brainiac's choice is limited. And there's the high water level alarm. It's time for him to hit the water. And he's going for the office chair, the last real chance for our office junior. The office chair, of course, filled with foam, which will float, but only until it becomes waterlogged. And the amount of metal on the chair will no doubt counteract any buoyancy the foam provides. Yep, there it goes. The chair is slowly sinking and offering our Brainiac no assistance at all. The office chair. Just one more product you should avoid if trying to keep your head above water.
What an extraordinary match this has been. Without doubt the most explosive frame of snooker I've ever seen. Our Brainiac is facing a complete shutout. All he's done in this game is sit down and then stand up to run away. Why? Well, with Brainiac snooker, we combine our love of snooker and explosions with our loathing for caravans. We're hoping it'll catch on. Each caravan has a different explosive gas or substance in it. As the ball drops into the pocket, a slow-burning fuse is ignited. With the yellow, the first of the 6 colours, it was propane, followed by butane. A mix of acetylene and oxygen proved powerful, as did oxygen by itself. It was slightly different for the pink. The caravan was filled with H2O. Water can't be compressed, so when mixed with an explosive, it creates quite a powerful bang. The explosion this time is petroleum-based, so we should see quite a fireball if Quentin can keep himself together for one last shot. Yes! No trouble at all. 147. A superb effort. He's really finished this frame with a bang. So, there it is. Quentin Hann makes the first ever televised Brainiac snooker maximum break.